Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for choosing to attend this among the many breakout sessions. My name is Ryan Smith. I'll introduce myself in just a second. The title of my presentation is Music, Movement, and Mind, Understanding Music Therapy for Parkinson's Disease. I'm representing the Alternative Medicine and Music for Parkinson's Lab at Iowa State University. So Dr. Stegemoller is scheduled or was booked to present with me today. Unfortunately, she's not able to make it, so you just get me today. But Dr. Stegemoller has a PhD in neuroscience and is the professor in the kinesiology department at Iowa State. And I have the pleasure of working with Dr. Stegemoller as her student, and the logo you see on the right bottom of the screen there is the board-certified music therapist emblem. So both Dr. Stegemoller and I are board-certified music therapists, and I've actually gotten to meet a couple of fellow music therapists in the room today. So our goals for this breakout session, I want to, by the end, I hope you are able to describe some common goals for music therapy in people with Parkinson's disease. I want you to be able to identify common experiences that might be facilitated by a music therapist, and then be able to interpret some of the scientific evidence supporting the use of music therapy in Parkinson's disease. Finally, we're going to end with how you might get in contact with a music therapist if I inspire you today. So first, what is music therapy? Music therapy is an evidence-based profession, and there are three, I think of it as a pie chart or a Venn diagram of three components. A credentialed music therapist, so this is somebody who has completed a degree program from an accredited college or university in music therapy. They form a therapeutic relationship with a client and then use music to achieve those clinical goals or outcomes. These are typically non-musical goals, whereas music educators will work on musical goals. Music therapists are targeting the same things that you might work on with your interdisciplinary healthcare team. So the scope of practice of music therapy is very broad, so I want to get you a sense of what we do in Parkinson's specifically. We can support physical rehabilitation, support speech and swallow. We'll go into why each of these are important. We will work on cognition within music therapy. Some of these things you were just talking about in that last session here. And then work on those cognitive, affective, emotional, so that emotional expression. So music therapy covers multiple domains. And music therapy is not just about the person who has a diagnosis. Music therapy is often about the whole community, the caregiver, the support system, depending on the approach we're working in. And that's especially relevant for music therapy and end-of-life care. So why music therapy? Music therapy is a conduit for neuroplasticity. So I'm throwing out science terms right away. I'm working on a PhD in neuroscience, so neuroplasticity is my world. So what is it and why is it important? Neuroplasticity is the way the brain changes through the connection and pruning of these synapses. So one cell in the brain to another. That little cartoon diagram is showing that neurotransmitter going through the synapse. So neuroplasticity is that process, how those are strengthened, reduced, or changed overall. Neuroplasticity is the biological basis of learning. Anytime you do something new, learn something new, you are using that neural pathway and then rebuilding those connections, rewiring to support that learning that you're achieving. This happens both with procedural learning, so actions you're doing, and semantic learning, things you might say. Importantly, neuroplasticity is lifelong. It's not just something that happens during development. Of course, there are hugely important periods of neuroplasticity through childhood and adolescence, but you all still can change your brains, and that is, music therapy is a tool that we can use to help you with that. So in summary, music therapy, neuroplasticity is the brain's ability to compensate for damage in this case. So we want to build new pathways that avoid or get around those damaged parts of the brain. So what does that look like? Here's a healthy brain. We have 3 cells that are yellow. They're connected by these red arrows. These are intact connections. This is our model of a healthy brain. But in pathologies such as Parkinson's disease, some of these cells die, and that is what's indicated in that gray cell. You notice we're no longer connected by those red arrows. So neuroplasticity is the ability to build around that. New neural connections that avoid that damage, but still get from point A to point B, still let you achieve those functional tasks, those goals that you're working on. And neuroplasticity is different under certain enhanced circumstances, and music therapy can facilitate those. All right, we got a sciencey slide here. I'll work you through it. So neuroplasticity is optimal when the brain chemistry is supporting it. So dopamine, something we talk about a lot in Parkinson's disease, promotes changes in the brain. So you might think if the brain is low on dopamine in the case of Parkinson's disease, then maybe not able to achieve as much plasticity, but music can support activation of dopaminergic areas in the brain. So those green areas you see on there, little ones down at the base, that's your substantia nigra pars compacta, the part of the brain that's damaged in Parkinson's disease. But music also activates the VTA, or ventral tegmental area, which is another dopaminergic area of the brain. So we still have that potential for music to help facilitate dopamine-dependent plasticity. Neuroplasticity is optimal when cells are firing together. So the phrase is cells that fire together wire together. Cells that are out of sync don't link. And music provides a rhythmic stimulus, something that's very predictable, and then gets those cells firing in unison. So what does that actually look like? Here on this slide, there are just some squiggly lines, but I'll walk you through what they mean. On that top line is somebody moving their arm back and forth, and the squiggles are the activity in their triceps muscle. That is moving back and forth with no rhythm. We see that there's some inconsistencies in the timing. Some of them are bigger, some of them are smaller. But then on that bottom row, when you give somebody rhythm, something to latch onto, then those are more predictable, regular activations. And sure, we're recording this from the muscle, but the muscle is 2 synapses or 2 connections away from that primary motor cortex. So it's an indirect measure of brain activity. Music is helping the brain fire together to wire together. Music promotes activation in a widespread network of brain areas. So this unlocks possible rerouting opportunities. The figure up there where you see all of the color is just listening to preferred music. We see activation all throughout the brain, back in the occipital lobe, some in the frontal lobe. That there are other things we can do with music, including movement, where we're going to activate even more regions, that primary motor cortex, premotor cortex, supplementary motor area. Reading, you're going to be activating that occipital lobe. Thinking, problem solving. Music is activating all over the brain, opening up those opportunities for that dopamine-dependent plasticity. Music provides a clear signal, and the more clear something is, the more likely neuroplasticity is to occur. So this is somebody singing versus speaking, and the graph is showing across the frequency band how strong that signal is. The dark line, which is music, has less noise or less unwanted frequencies in it, so it's providing more clarity. Clarity is a predictor of neuroplasticity. Here's our summary of this scientific biological basis of music therapy. And now I want to talk you through what we actually might do, what one might experience in a music therapy session. Remember, there's our MTBC logo again, facilitated by board-certified, credentialed music therapists. So The first domain we work in Parkinson's is the motor domain. Some of our activities or therapeutic music experiences include movement with music, gait training, so relearning the walking pattern, using rhythm to reinforce that. Music therapists will sometimes work in dance and instrument playing. We'll go into more detail on each of these. So movement with music. Some of the goals that we will work on are strength, endurance, and flexibility. We will give it a try right here. All right, so everybody sitting up nice and tall the same way I had you before when I was over at the piano. And show me your hands nice, big, and wide. Sitting up nice and tall. So we'll go close and open, close and open, close and open, close. Hey, good looking, what you got cooking? How's about cooking something up with me? You're always welcome to sing along. Hey, sweet baby, don't you think maybe we might find us a brand new recipe? And stop. Now still sitting up nice and tall. You'll step forward and put your heel out in front of you. So try to get it under that chair. So we go forward and back, step and back, step and back. Step. I got a hot rod, a Ford, and a $2 bill. I know a spot right over the hill. There's a soda pop and the dancing's free. So if you want to have fun, come along with me. And stop. Now just one finger on each hand. I'll keep holding my pick and I'll demonstrate with one hand. But both hands will go tap, tap, tap. Tap, nice and fast. So twice the speed we were going before. Tap, 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 tap. Said, hey, good looking, what you got cooking? How's about cooking something up with me? Last one, I'll have you go down the line. So first, second, third, fourth. First, second, third, fourth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. I'm free and I'm ready, so we can go steady. How's about saving all your time for me? Last chorus, just find a movement that feels good to you. It can be the fingers, it can be back to moving your legs, just whatever feels good. I said, hey, good looking, what you got cooking? How's about cooking something up with me? Thank you all. So what we are working with there, we are using those different motor groups, and then we can meet specific needs, plan experiences that really match the movement to what a person needs. Gait training, I'm not going to demonstrate, but this is going to be auditory cueing of each step to help that pace regularity. Some of the evidence here shows that gait training with rhythm improves overall mobility, helps with safe walking, and helps with more consistent walking with longer step length. Dance, I said, is within that scope of practice of music therapy. We don't want to infringe on our dance therapists. They have a standing profession. They are the true experts, but as music therapists, sometimes we do use some dance in what we do. So Jeff Johnson said earlier that you're not going to see him dance. You actually do get to see Jeff Johnson dance. This is what we did with our group this year. So with those dance movements, we're really working on mobility, finding accurate places to step, that endurance. That song is about 3.5 minutes long, and we were moving through it probably 4+ times in a row while we were practicing. So really doing some endurance dance as a form of exercise in addition to that music-based intervention. Another thing we will do within music therapy is selective instrument playing that really targets that movement. So sometimes that could be wanting to work on that fine motor control. We have things like piano, ukulele, where it could look like music instruction, but really we're working on those functional goals, those non-musical motor goals. We can use instruments to force range of motion. So we'll put a drum over here, we'll put a drum over here. You've got to turn all the way across your body to hit that drum. And endurance. Once we get a song going, we're not going to finish the song. You're going to keep playing those instruments, turning your body that whole time. So our scientific basis of movement and music here, these charts are just from some of Dr. Stegemoller's previous research. This shows time across that horizontal axis. The vertical axis is brainwave frequencies, so we're measuring this on the scalp using electroencephalography. And the colors are the amount or the power of activity in that frequency band. So if you focus on the left side, about most of the way, approximately halfway up, you see this clear pattern of red, blue, red, blue. This is during a repetitive movement over C3, which is going to be one of those electrodes over our primary motor cortex. And this is to demonstrate that music can help enhance that oscillation between on and off of that movement. So we want to see beta synchronization and desynchronization, and that is what that far left one, all three of them to some extent, but especially that far left are showing. More on this to come because my dissertation is following this track. So in a couple years, hopefully I'll be back to show you some more results with specifically the brain activity related to movement in music. We also know from our research that there is more accurate movement timing when we have music involved. And this is a diagram from my master's thesis. There are trends toward less variability in movement. So each line is a participant. The horizontal axis is the different conditions, so no cueing, rhythmic cueing, so just a metronome click, or sonified cues, so cues that are built into a song. And we see in that sonified cueing condition, there is that trend toward less variable movement. So repeating the same reaching task, they followed the same path more consistently. I'll get to Q&A at the end. Thank you. I appreciate the enthusiasm. All right, some of these other scientific support in the motor domain, people enjoy it more. My friend and colleague Leah Quiller, currently just finished her PhD at Colorado State, has new evidence for people prefer exercise with music, and she did that same same arm reaching task. Better exercise adherence and decreased episodes of freezing of gait with music. All right, you got to see a little demo of this earlier, but we use music to support speech and swallow in people with Parkinson's disease. Some of our goals include increasing or maintaining vocal volume, increasing or improving or maintaining respiratory control, articulation so that your speech can be understood by the people you're talking to, and then the strength of your swallow. All right, let's give this one a try. All right, you'll be at Me, may, my, mo, moo. Here we go. Me, may, my, mo, moo. Me, may, my, mo, moo. Me, may, my, mo, moo. Change it to a B, so getting that bilabial consonant. Here we go. B, bay, bi, bo, boo. B, bay, bi, bo, boo. Two more. B, bay, bi, bo, boo. Last one. B, bay, bi, bo, boo. Going down, I worked T with you at the piano. We'll do T, te, ti, to, two. 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 Two more on C. Si, se, si, so, su. That one's working the tongue. Si, se, si, so, su. Y'all sound great. Oh, so it's not just exercises. Clea, can I get your hand, please? Clea's helping out. All right, we will sing together. Country roads, those arrows are for you to keep holding that breath out. Big breath, nice and loud. Here we go. Almost heaven, West Virginia, Blue Ridge Mountains, Shenandoah River. Life is old there, older than the trees, younger than the mountains, blowing like the breeze. Nice and long. Country roads, take me home to the place I belong. West Virginia, mountain mama, take me home. Country roads. All right, everybody sit up 2 inches taller, feet flat on the floor. Big breath all the way down from the diaphragm. This is nice and low. All my memories gather round her. Miner's lady, stranger to blue water. Really get those T consonants. Dark and dusty, painted on the sky. Misty taste of moonshine, teardrops in my eye. Nice and long. Country roads, take me home to the place I belong. West Virginia, sounds so good. Mountain mama, take me home. Country roads, take me home, down country roads. So, why are we doing the things that we're doing here with singing? I gotta skip through my slides here. Here we are. So, group therapeutic singing, which is the approach that Dr. Stegemoller uses in our Wednesday singing groups, and the protocol that she's published, and we've published several papers out of. Group therapeutic singing, or singing in general, is exercise for the muscles we use to speak and to swallow. Sharing those muscle groups, singing is intentional activation of muscles. It is exercise for those muscle groups. Singing leads to improved vocal volume. I asked for a little more, you gave it to me. So even speaking before and after an hour of singing, people will speak more loudly following that hour, even if it feels tiring and fatiguing in the moment. Singing improves swallow-related muscle activity. So here we see green bars are people without Parkinson's disease, age-matched to yellow bars. Each pairing is one muscle group. It was recorded using electromyography, so these muscle sensing electrodes, they measure muscle activity, and how high up the bar is how long the muscles were active when somebody swallowed. So we see this deficit that we hear about, the dysphagia in Parkinson's. This is evidence for that. Those muscles are not active as long as they are with our healthy older adult comparisons. But here, the far right, where everything goes up, is after 16 weeks of group therapeutic singing. This is now our Parkinson's disease only. Each line is that muscle. So those third and fourth points are after singing. So we see that around that 8-week, the third mark, there seems to be some improvement, but by 16 weeks, people's swallow duration is really improving. Upcoming full results on that paper, hopefully in the next few months here. Singing, group therapeutic singing, is comparable to gold standard speech therapy treatment, so EMST, expiratory muscle strength training. This is some research that came out of our lab with Dr. Jesse Brown, now Dr. Jesse Brown. So each line is one of two groups, and the two that point upward, that is how much air people are able to move, and the dark line, the people sang in that first segment. The lighter line, people sang in that second segment. So both conditions did both trials, but we see more improvement in the singing than in that expiratory muscle strength training. So singing is helping you move more air. Jesse's dissertation also has some information about how it improves coughing strength, and in case something does happen, we want you to be able to cough things up effectively. So moving more air, coughing more strongly, and all these vocal improvements as well. And a surprise to us from after this started, for Dr. Stegemoller specifically, people reported that after an hour of singing that their motor symptoms were improved. We didn't expect this. We were really targeting speech and swallow. But after hearing that kind of anecdotal report, we followed up with research, and even before and after one session, there is a significant improvement on that clinical motor symptom scale you've all done, presumably the MDS UPDRS Part 3, so where you're tapping your finger, you're turning over. I see people doing all the UPDRS movements through the audience. Yes, so that score decreases even acutely after one session of singing. And importantly, singing is associated with improved quality of life. We have qualitative and quantitative data to support this. Related to cognition, some of the things that we might work on are declarative memory, so working on learning things or working on short-term recall, motor learning, skill learning, executive function, so planning, moving on, initiating movements, and making these plans for your day-to-day activities. Oh, go back one. All right, I'm going to do just a quick demo here. We'll sing "She'll Be Coming Around the Mountain," and then each time I'm going to give you a movement. The movements add together. All right, first verse, "She'll be coming around the mountain when she comes, toot, toot." She'll be coming round the mountain when she comes, toot, toot. She'll be coming round the mountain when she comes. She'll be coming round the mountain, she'll be coming round the mountain, she'll be coming round the mountain when she comes. All right, what is she riding? Driving 6 white horses. You can't ride them all at the same time. And we're going whoa back. So reach way out in front, whoa back. She'll be driving 6 white horses when she comes. Whoa, back. She'll be driving 6 white horses when she comes. She'll be driving 6 white horses. She'll be driving 6 white horses. She'll be driving 6 white horses when she comes. Whoa, back. Toot, toot. Yeah, we're adding on each time. We'll get it up to 4. We'll all go out to meet her. Hi, babe. Oh, we'll all go out to meet her when she comes. Oh, we'll all go out to meet her when she comes. Oh, we'll all go out to meet her. Oh, we'll all go out to meet her. Oh, we'll all go out to meet her when she comes. Hi, babe. Whoa, back. Toot, toot. Great. All right, sad one. We gotta make dinner, so first we have to kill the old red rooster. Hack, hack. Really spit out that hack. Oh, we'll kill the old red rooster when she comes. Oh, we'll kill the old red rooster when she comes. Oh, we'll kill the old red rooster. Oh, we'll kill the old red rooster. Oh, we'll kill the old red rooster when she comes. You got it. Last one. We'll all have chicken and dumplings. Yum, yum. Oh, we'll all have chicken and dumplings when she comes. Oh, we'll all have chicken and dumplings when she comes. Oh, we'll all have chicken and dumplings. Oh, we'll all have chicken and dumplings. Oh, we'll all have chicken and dumplings when she comes. Toot, toot. Impressive, impressive working memories. All right, I want to spend a moment talking about how music and music therapy support quality of life. So one of the goals that we'll work on is emotional expression and then providing emotional support within that therapeutic relationship. So some of the ways that this happens, music therapists are all trained in not just making music, not just working with people, but creating music and helping others create. So some of the techniques that we might use for the emotional support piece are improvisation, either improvising about a theme and then using that to do some verbal processing and reflecting upon it, and then songwriting, especially when I talk about hospice, I'll bring this back, but supporting people's quality of life through songwriting, helping them express themselves, tell their story when it might be difficult to do so otherwise. Music therapy is useful in pain management. There is some literature out there from nursing schools that people who are hospitalized use less pain medication if they have a music therapist on their team. So some of those interventions might include some mindfulness or music-supported relaxation. Social cohesion or group support. Just anecdotally, I see some folks who participate in our weekly singing groups up in Ames, and it is really a community that we have built together. And some of my previous work in hospice music therapy, able to build those connections, help support people directly to connect with that loved one who might be having that difficult time, have the positive shared experience, do some emotional processing all together. And then hospice care and bereavement. I formerly worked for a nonprofit hospice organization, and I covered everything on this list. But some of the things that were most meaningful to me that I did with some of the folks with Parkinson's I worked with in that position, we created what are called legacy projects. So sometimes it was an original song that they wrote that they wanted to share with their family after they passed. Sometimes it was just a recording of their voice. And sometimes we were able to get a stethoscope microphone and record their heartbeat and put it either into a stuffed animal for their grandchildren so they could hear their grandparents' voice after they passed, or working with embedding that heartbeat recording into music, into those legacy projects. So within hospice music therapy, this is some of the things that are within the scope of practice. I want to tell you that there are opportunities in Ames especially to get involved in music therapy and Parkinson's disease research. First, the study that we are actively recruiting for, if you're interested, we have a table out in the hall over there, group therapeutic singing in rural Iowa. So we have a hybrid component where folks are able to join our group therapeutic singing on Zoom. And we will be doing some data collection both at Iowa State Extension offices and then ultimately people joining online at home. And a preview of my dissertation study. Hopefully I'll be getting in contact. If you're interested, we can happily take phone numbers and emails now. The neural basis of movement with music. So we'll have people wearing that cap to record your brain activity while you're doing some movements with and without music. So we can further the support for music therapy by understanding the neuroscience behind it. Quick plug for our lab, the Alternative Medicine and Music for Parkinson's Disease Lab. I've referenced singing already. We do a boxing group every Tuesday. These run through the academic year, and they are in person in Ames. Wednesday, we do singing. This is currently year-round and accessible on Zoom. And then our dance group, which is what you saw the video of at the beginning there. So how do you find a music therapist if I've inspired you? Here are some immediate resources. The American Music Therapy Association has a directory that's accessible at musictherapy.org. The Certification Board for Music Therapists also has what I consider to be a more easily searchable database of all music therapists. And then the Iowa Chapter for Music Therapy, if you go on their website, send them an email, there are some kind of referral chains that happen through that. I today have spoken with music therapists who work in the VA. I know there are music therapists who work specifically Parkinson's in both the Des Moines VA and the Iowa City VA. And then some residential care facilities will have music therapists either contracted or on staff. So if you are in a situation where you're living in a residential facility, a care center, talk to your administration about having a music therapist contracted, or ideally on staff. Here is the contact information for myself, the lab, and Dr. Stegemoller. Thank you all very much for your attention today. Do we have just a couple of minutes for Q&A here? Yes, sir.
If I listen to music and sing while doing my exercises, will that help? Does that produce an improved result?
So I can't guarantee any result, and I would encourage you to work with whoever your movement specialist is, occupational therapist, physical therapist, ideally having a music therapist collaborate with those people. But yes, at the very least, if you think it's more engaging to move with music, if it's helpful to provide some targets for yourself to make your movements larger when you're doing exercise, make sure you extend that elbow all the way, get yourself a tambourine to hit something forward and back. There are ways that you can absolutely implement some of these techniques on your own at home. We say with music therapy, you don't fade the music, you fade the therapist. So the music therapist will teach you what to do, and then you learn to do these things independently. One more question?
If nobody else has a question, the phrase alternative medicine suggests that that is not broadly accepted by the medical profession. Is that still the case with music therapy?
Great, I appreciate that. So I personally prefer the phrase adjuvant therapies or complementary therapies. So I would categorize it. So the amped name is set. As we build this evidence base, especially getting the qualitative and the quantitative, understanding the physiology behind it, we are moving toward music therapy being accepted, moving toward it being hopefully, and in some places, reimbursed.
Hi, I'm a speech therapist with my wonderful music therapist next to me. We're trying to get a group together, and I was wondering, all of your research, they meet once a week, is that correct?
The vast majority of it is once per week, 60 minutes. Speaking your language, the study that compared group therapeutic singing to EMST was twice a week.
Twice a week, okay. How do you get people to buy into music groups?
Well, the hardest part is getting seats in, getting butts in chairs. Once people are actually engaged in the active music making process, that I find to be, it really is natural. And sure, it's not for everybody. How do we get people engaged, get them interested? By being loud, being confident, and making it clear that with very few exceptions, in music therapy, we're not here to create a product. We're here to have an experience, a therapeutic experience. It doesn't matter to me what your voice sounds like. You probably won't be the most out of tune one in the room. And if I need to be, I can be the most out of tune one in the room to make everybody else feel better. One more?
I participate in the music program. I did not want to do it because I did not want anybody to hear me sing. But my husband said, "Your voice is getting softer. I can't hear you." So I'm singing.
Thank you so much for being willing to share your experience. And thank you all for your attention today. I'll be out at the booth far side of the hallway past the food, good portion of the afternoon. Thank you.